Once upon a time, Vitaly Zdorovetskiy was untouchable. He was the face of YouTube pranks, a fearless entertainer who would run through stadiums, fake zombie apocalypses, and stir chaos in the streets just to make millions of strangers laugh. He wasn't just another YouTuber, he was the prank king. At his peak, Vitaly pulled in hundreds of millions of views, pocketed millions of dollars, and lived a lifestyle most creators only dream of. To his fans, he was unstoppable, brash, daring, and untouchable. But fast forward to today, and that same man is unrecognizable. Gone is the flashy showman in tank tops. Instead, leaked photos show Vitaly hunched over in a baggy orange prison jumpsuit, his once confident smirk replaced with hollow eyes and a broken stare. He's not filming viral pranks anymore. He's locked in a cramped Philippine prison, facing charges so serious they could keep him behind bars for decades. His family begged for help. His lawyers pleaded for bail. Both the US and Russian governments gave him the same cold answer. No exceptions, no favors. The prank king who built an empire on chaos is now living through the kind of nightmare no viral stunt could ever prepare him for. So what happened? How did one of YouTube's earliest viral stars lose everything? His fame, his fortune, and his freedom. Back in the golden days of YouTube, when prank videos dominated trending pages, Vitaly Zdorovetskiy was untouchable. His content was loud, outrageous, and impossible to ignore. Zombie apocalypse pranks in busy cities, crashing sporting events, harassing strangers just to get a reaction. It worked. By 2014, Vitaly was racking up hundreds of millions of views. He made more money in a single month than most people make in a year. His wild personality and bad boy image became a brand. Fans loved the chaos. They loved the fact that Vitaly didn't play it safe. He was bold, daring, and reckless. And for a while, that recklessness made him rich. But the same thing that built his career would also tear it down. At first, people laughed, but over time, the pranks got darker. What once seemed funny started to feel uncomfortable. Staged fights in public, fake robberies, running into stores screaming zombie attack. It wasn't comedy anymore. It was harassment. Police reports started piling up. Vitaly was arrested multiple times in the US, trespassing, disturbing the peace, disrupting major events. But instead of learning his lesson, he wore each arrest like a badge of honor. To him, every time the cuffs clicked shut, it wasn't a punishment. It was free publicity. Another headline, another viral video. The problem? Audiences began to see through it. They weren't laughing with him anymore. They were laughing at him. Or worse, getting angry. The tipping point came on Miami Beach. In one of the most shocking moments of his career, Vitaly launched an unprovoked attack on a woman jogging. Witnesses say he ran at her out of nowhere and began striking her in the face and chest. The woman was left shaken, injured, and scarred emotionally. The 911 calls painted a disturbing picture. A stranger being beaten in broad daylight by someone with millions of fans online. The internet erupted. Overnight, Vitaly's reputation collapsed. This wasn't a prank, this wasn't entertainment, this was assault. For many fans, that was the moment they unsubscribed for good. The prank king had officially crossed a line he could never uncross. But here's the thing, in the United States, consequences often meant little more than fines, bail money, or short stints in county jail. Vitaly quickly learned he could push boundaries without ever truly paying the price. Every time the law caught up to him, he slipped away with a slap on the wrist. It made him arrogant. It made him believe he was untouchable. But there's a saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And when Vitaly decided to take his antics abroad, he discovered the hard way that not every country plays by the same rules. By 2025, Vitaly was desperate for attention. His audience had shrunk. His old pranks weren't pulling numbers anymore, so he flew to Manila, Philippines with cameras rolling, determined to make a comeback. But instead of funny, light-hearted pranks, Vitaly went straight for chaos. He and his crew harassed strangers, ripped masks off pedestrians, barged into restaurants, and even tried to grab a guard's service weapon. This wasn't content, it was a crime spree. Broadcast live. Filipino viewers didn't laugh. They reported him. They clipped his streams. They tallied up every offense. And soon enough, the police came knocking. On April 2nd, 2025, Vitaly was swarmed by police in the heart of Manila. His cocky smirk was still plastered across his face, but it didn't last long. The charges stacked up quickly. Unjust vexation, harassing guards, offensive remarks, theft, stealing a patrol motorcycle, and even an electric fan. Public disturbance, jumping onto moving vehicles, barging into kitchens. attempted theft, trying to take a gun from a security guard, illegal filming, live streaming without permits. In the US, he might have posted bail and walked away, but in the Philippines, bail was denied over and over again. For the first time in his life, Vitaly's smirk disappeared. Leaked photos from inside the detention center shocked the internet. The once muscular prankster looked unrecognizable. His orange jumpsuit hung off his thin frame, his head was bowed, his eyes were hollow. Reports described brutal conditions, overcrowded cells, meager rations, constant threats of violence. For someone who built his brand on arrogance and bravado, Vitaly looked broken. His family begged both the US and Russia to intervene. Neither government wanted anything to do with him. Even Russia held a press conference condemning his actions, using him as an example of what not to do abroad. In Manila, fame meant nothing. He was just another foreigner who broke the law. The Philippines made it clear, no special treatment. Even the country's president spoke out, saying foreigners who disrespect Filipinos would face consequences. Online, the public was merciless. Old fans mocked him, critics celebrated his downfall, some said it was karma. In one brutal twist, Vitaly, once a global star with millions of subscribers, was now trending only because of his mugshots. So what does Vitaly's future look like? Legal experts suggest 3 possible outcomes. Lightest case, 18 months to 3 years in prison. Mid case, 5 to 7 years if charges are combined. Worst case, up to 20 years if the court decides to make an example out of him. And here's the kicker. Trials in the Philippines often drag on for years. Even if he's sentenced lightly, Vitaly could still rot in detention for 2 to 3 years before the case is even finished. For a man already looking broken after just a few months, that's a nightmare. The story of Vitaly is bigger than one YouTuber. It's about what happens when influencers cross the line, when arrogance collides with reality, and when fame becomes a weapon used against the very people who gave it to you. Vitaly built his empire on shock value. He thrived on chaos. But the chaos finally caught up to him. From YouTube prank king to a prisoner in Manila, his fall is a warning to every influencer who thinks they're above the law. The Vitaly of 2014, the brash, cocky prankster, is gone. What's left is a broken man, locked away, waiting for a trial that may not even start for years. So now the question is this truly the end of Vitaly's story, or just the beginning of a much darker chapter?